No? Yeah. We're here to, kick you off to Saturn. I know. It's tricky to rock around.
Hey guys, Pat
your mute.
doesn't come to the stream. It's just Dave's.
Hit the mic button.
Pat
okay.
Muted?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I hit the mic button and muted. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the game.
There you go.
Welcome to the game. I am Pat, and this is
Pat.
Dave.
Neither of us are very professional today.
Yeah, I like how Dave's mic is robotic. Mine's silent.
Is mine robotic right now?
Yep.
Right now?
Yep.
The heck?
Domo arigato, Mr. Debato. Domo.
And I thought I was completely over this.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. Secret. I have a secret. Da-na-na-na-na-na. God, I hate sticks. Anyways, welcome to the show. We have a lot of cool stuff to announce. Have a lot of cool, not good stuff to announce. Just joking, we don't have any of that. It's all good. It's
Is
all
it working
good in
now?
the hood. Yeah,
Is
you're
my
good.
mic good?
You're
Okay,
good.
for now.
You're good in the hood.
Until it goes robotic again.
You're good in the hood, my dude.
All right.
But yeah, so interesting show so far. Welcome to the show. Technical glitches all around. Hopefully everybody's enjoying all the TIs. I think there's 3 TIs in a direct row, so hopefully that has cleared us of the TIs and we should be good to go. Probably not. But anyways, how's it going with you, Mr. Dave, besides all that? And other stuff that you told me about?
Well, the mic thing pisses me off because, like I say, I thought we've been through this so many times, and I thought I fixed it with a new cable or something like that. I troubleshot it, and I didn't know what fixed it, but I used a new cable, and that seemed to fix it, and then now we're back to square one. So
maybe it's running out of batteries.
Yeah, no, I just put some new batteries in there too. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I followed your lead on that eliminating the new camera input because I thought that would do it. I thought that was going to be the thing, but nope.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anyway,
honestly, it's probably just the interface.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
So Blue Moon says he's dodging a tornado today. So, hopefully you're in your shelter listening to this. You're sheltered and you're not gonna get destroyed by a tornado. That'd be great. So recommend that if you're in a tornado area, get to your shelters. But turn your TV up all the way through the volume, but don't turn on the news. That's not important. Put the SHIRO show up to 1,000 and listen to that while your house is getting torn apart by tornadoes. That sounds like the safe thing to do. You don't need to listen to the radio. There's only one place you need to be, and that's on the SHIRO show. So get to your basements, put this volume all the way up, and listen to us.
Unless you end up in the land of Oz, and then I don't know, you're gonna have to
fight some Sega Saturns.
You're gonna have to, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I just watched The Wizard of Oz with Junie like the other day. So
sorry to hear. It's rough. If you haven't watched it in a while, it's actually kind of rough. At least to me. I mean, it's kind of rough, but maybe
because of the technology or what?
No, it's a bit slower than I'm used to. But you should put on some Pink Floyd, and it's good.
Put on some Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
nice.
Just put on some Pink Floyd after the second or third line roar.
Yeah,
I can't remember. And then just tune in, drop in something out. But yeah, yep. Please stay safe, people that are in tornado areas. Get to designated shelters immediately. Don't get in the tornado's path. But anyways, yep. We got some good news so far. So I think we've talked about before, but we actually have found more modems. So do you want to tell a little bit about this, Dave, while I pull up the site?
Got a message, right? I think it was in our inbox. Who sent that? somebody, some secret admirer. I can't remember who.
Is it on Twitter?
I'm looking. I don't see it on Twitter, and now I don't remember if it was on Twitter or if it was in email. Maybe it was in email. Now I'm just curious here. So okay, it was Moose Track 7. And I've seen them in the chat before. So they sent us an email that said, "Hey, you might want to check this. They've got another box of those, right?" It was a link to joss.com auction. I don't know. It's another site that's feeding auctions. But then I found the same thing on Yahoo Auctions Japan, and then Knight said that it's all aggregated from like Buyee or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they all linked together? Basically, yeah. They're all like got the same listing. So it must just be like all these sites kind of feed from a source. So I guess it's on Buyee.
Yeah, no,
but it's the same guy. It's the same guy that we bought from before. And something tells me that he's just kind of slowly drip feeding these onto the market, and then it sells, and then, he puts another one on. So like, how many times are we going to pay $100 for shipping? I just want to say, like, how many do you have?
Yeah, but we're trying to if we get somebody to translate and message this dude.
Yeah.
Like if we could do that and be like, hey, we're interested in buying as many as you have. If you have any extras, we'll buy it outright for like maybe a couple $100 or whatever.
Yeah, or at least a couple. Like we'd get at least a couple boxes, right? So that we could, use all of those modems we bought too. We bought all those USB modems. So if we had like 2 more boxes of this, it would be perfect. We'd have one Netlink or one X-band modem for every USB modem that we bought. And that way we could get like 30 people signed up for the SHIRO roster.
Yeah, but it's
in an ideal world.
Exactly. Yeah, these are brand new in box. So
here's what I would do. If you win this auction, okay? If you win this auction, when we win this auction,
there's not going to be an if. There's going to be a win.
I'm trying to knock on wood here. If you win this auction, send a message maybe to him and say, hey, before you ship this, do you have another box I'd be willing to buy from you? Maybe you can't.
We go through Buyee.
Okay, right. And you can't send messages directly.
No, they don't answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Then I guess we're just going to have to take the L on shipping every time.
Yeah. So we'll, but yeah, we just get we actually, think it was like last week that Knight got the shipment in, right, Knight?
Monday.
Okay.
So yeah, he has the 10 modems, so we got 10 of those. So we're just gonna get I guess we're sending Knight 10 more, I suppose. Hopefully he has room in his house.
Yeah.
He just puts in his the bed with him. Just cuddles it. I mean, that's what I would be doing if I had 10 of these, but that's just me. I don't know. And
then you guys can get online and be playing.
Get it on, then get online.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be a total of 20 now. I think how many modems do we have? The ones that we bought.
We've got 10 of these X-band modems, and then we've got 30 of the USB modems that Knight is going to convert into live modems. So each of those pairs, that's the idea, is to bundle it up, an X-band modem and a USB live modem, and ship them out to folks so that they have everything they need, essentially.
Yeah, we're hoping that we can get a solid deal on that, and hopefully we can get these all sorted and get you guys out for the reasonable price. Maybe, I don't really know on prices. Maybe like trying to get under 50 would be the goal. Maybe even lower if we can. Why are you a race truck? Why are you Daytona USA now?
I've got Sega Rally on the brain.
Why did you become Sega Rally?
Why did I become Sega Rally? I'm just messing with you, Pat. It's an image mask.
That's pretty funny.
Is it funny?
Why is Dave Rally?
Wait, why am I Sega Rally? I'm the embodiment of Sega Rally. No, but seriously, I've been playing I've been playing some on Netlink Sega Rally with
I've
Joe, with
been
Double
seeing a lot of
Dime,
the
with who else? I've done some rounds with Lee, I think. Some of them have gone better than others, but truth is it's really variable. Like sometimes you have a great connection and then sometimes it's crap. You just have to keep redialing or whatnot.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been noticing, where it's like sometimes I'll have a great not like laggy match, but then I'll have a really laggy one. So it all depends. It all depends on the how the internet's feeling today, but mostly it's been laggy for me.
Yeah,
at least.
it's really yeah, that's right. Okay, so Double Dime, was it Double Dime that you were doing matches with, and he was saying that he was having trouble with your. Okay, so one thing that helped, I think, anecdotally, Knight had me put the Python tunnel on one thread, on the last thread of my PC, just so that it's kind of isolated and it's not hopping around trying to like change threads. That was one thing. I don't know if that helped, but anecdotally, it seemed like it did.
That's that tunnel program.
Yeah, you just go into your process manager and set the affinity to just I don't know however many threads you have, but it's just set it to core. Just set it to the final core, and then easy robotic left maybe. Am I robotic
you
again?
sound robotic again.
I don't know how to fix this.
Mr. Robot Man, he's a robot man in a robot land. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. I'm trying to see where my cores are.
I'm trying to see if there's a way to change my buffer size so that samples.
This is samples. Oh, I got 12 cores. I've got a 12-core processor. You guys got 12-core processors.
How about now?
You sound good.
Yeah, I might have to quit Shiro Show.
Oh, retire.
No, I might have to call it quits because my mic doesn't want to be a part of the show.
Does it want to work?
No, the
worst
other
case,
thing.
you could just buy a new interface. Like
so the other thing, does your router have? Yeah, well, I can try to do that, but again, it could just be the whole chain. You've got the laptop and everything like that, all the connectors.
I'm really sure it's probably the interface.
Yeah, probably. Now you made me lose my train of thought, Pat. Damn it.
Good.
So do you have QoS settings in your router or whatever those?
I just haven't messed with it. I probably will fix that though. I'll mess around with those and that should be good. It could help
a lot. And it could help just adding a specific one for UDP, for that UDP port range. I did that at Joe's recommendation, and that seemed to help as well. So those two things, and 90% of the matches that I've had have been good since then. So
I'll do that after the show.
Yeah, because I definitely want to do get some virtual awning going on, but yeah, I recommend that folks. You know, if you're interested in joining the Netlink roster, then I guess become a patron first, because patrons are going to get first dibs, just because it's their money that's going into this project, into making this project happen.
Yeah,
they are the Kickstarters, I guess you could say. But
yeah, so they're definitely going to be getting dibs on their modems. We're probably going to at least at the minimum have 10. I'm hoping we'll have 20.
It would be nice.
So yeah, we'll get those and they'll get first dibs, and then if people want to buy them, we'll put it on the website and you can just buy them. It'll be the same thing. We'll have like a password system on there where you just put in a password like we did for the early magazines. And we'll do that, and then whoever wants a Netlink can get online, then we'll just sell them generally.
How much are we going to be selling them for? Cost, I guess.
Yeah, probably around 50.
We're going to sell them for how much they cost us, all things considered. We're not looking to make a profit on these. We're looking to pass them on.
Yeah, so basically it's going to be cost for everything. But we're looking at maybe 50, probably something less than 50. and whatever shipping is, of course. So
right, we have to account for shipping. Got to account for those little boards that Knight bought. Got to account for, you know, shipping and whatever PayPal fees they are associated with it and whatever. But we haven't calculated all that yet. But just know that it's going to be cheaper than you're going to be able to buy it anywhere else. So, because our goal is to get people online, not to, you know, sit on these things and make a buck, you know.
Yeah, more than likely it's going to be cheaper than trying to buy one on eBay for a regular costing one. So you probably $50 you could get on eBay, but if you do 50 here, you could you get the whole shebang. Just hook it up and set it and forget it.
Yeah. And you know, 8-bit SNK boy was talking about getting a satiator, which I normally recommend the Fenrir to folks because it's cheaper. But this is one area where I can say this: the satiator is faster. The satiator boots really fast, and like every time I've done Netlink matches against someone with a Fenrir or a Rhea or whatever, when it comes to like having to reboot, and we both say, okay, we're gonna reboot our consoles, I reboot and I'm up in less than 10 seconds. You know, I'm like back to ready to dial, you know, in like 10 seconds with the satiator, and usually it takes a lot longer with the Fenrir. Again, that's anecdotally because I haven't put them side by side, but every single time it's like it takes longer for the person on the other end to reboot. And so Fenrir's got a lot of great things going for it, but yeah, when we're just talking about like how fast it is to boot up, satiator is really fast.
Honestly, I kind of want to go back to my satiator.
Really? Tell me about it, because you've had the benefit of having your Fenrir installed for a while and playing with it.
I think the one issue I have is that it has this weird glitch with the menu where it'll just disappear. Like the menu will just disappear, especially if I have different controllers. It'll be hard to get the menu to pop up. Is that a
common issue?
I don't know. That's what I'm running into right now. I haven't really looked much into it. There's that I'm running into. There's also
I was wondering if that was something Knight has heard of or is familiar with.
No, that's the weirdest thing that ever happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird why it was doing that to me. One thing I think of is that I'm using my satiator SD card with it because I don't want to switch cards out. I don't want to redo the entirety of that card because it's been a pain in the ass. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Is been switching out the Fenrir and satiator cards so I can have one. So but yeah, I'm just considering maybe switching back. But I don't know. Because like I've had no issues with the satiator at all, but like with the Fenrir, it's like I've been having little issues here and there. But it's not bad. Like it works. It's just like issues here and there for little things.
Slowcoin or Double Dime, I believe, it mentions that satiator can take a long time to boot the first time, and that actually goes for any time you add a new image to the SD card. So if I add, I don't know. If I add like bash phishing to my SD card, but then I try to boot Sega Rally, like the first time after popping this SD card back in, it will take longer because it's like journaling or something like that. It's accounting for that new thing that you added to the SD card. But once it does, it goes black for a while, then it boots up to the Sega logo, and once it does that, every reboot is going to be quick. Although there is a caveat, and that is to say that I'm approaching the very limit of the SD card that I have in my satiator, and as I do so, loading is getting slower in general. I've noticed, and it definitely like so. I put that game Tilk because I hadn't heard of that game Tilk before. Peter mentioned it, you know, and I put that one on. And that brought me, that brought me to almost full with the SD card, and then I noticed that like loading everything was slower now, so I probably need to reformat and just dump everything back onto the card. I don't know why. I don't know why that is because SD cards don't get fragmented, right? Or they get fragmented, but it shouldn't matter, right? Pat?
I don't think so. No, it's just an SD card. It's like flash memory.
So
It's
have
not
you
like a
ever
disk drive?
but have you ever experienced flash memory, be it a USB stick or whatever, get slower when it fills up?
Nope.
Never. Huh.
The thing is, I never really get to that maximum size. So, but I have some drives that are kind of up there, but I never had issues with them.
They never slow down when you get to the point. See, this has happened with numerous EverDrive style like flash carts. This has happened with my DS, like the DS2 flash cart. If I fill up the micro SD card with ROMs until it's like packed to the brim, then it.
Come on, Craig.
Okay, I'm a robot again.
The brim. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple shells.
Is that
melons, oranges?
Night says I'm robotic again? It's morphin time.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well,
you should really use some SHIRO funds and get a microphone, a new audio interface.
A new interface. Well, I might, and that might not even fix it. Honestly, that might not. It could be like I don't know. Shadow Mouse was saying it could be a driver issue. I don't know.
Yeah, because I've been using this one. I gave me issues initially, but now it's fine. I don't hear anybody ever complain about it. So.
Yeah, well, that mic is the same mic as I have, but it's the interface. It's the iRig Pre HD, which I'm using, and like for the last month it was fine. Then what did I do? I got a new camera, and everything kind of messed up.
Well, if you want, I can get maybe get a Scarlett, and I can give you my other one. I have the Behringer one. I can send that to you if you really want it.
I'm gonna unplug. I'm gonna unplug for a second, okay? But I'll be right back.
All right, he's an unplug. He's leaving. Just me. Let's do something fun. There we go. Infinite Patrick's. Perfect. Anyways, we'll have Knight. He's in the little box right there. But yeah, one of the things somebody mentioned in the chat was about the Sega Lord X Mr. Bones video, and yes, I agree 100%. Well, that game is hot garbage, and it does 5,000 things, but it does none of them right, in my opinion. Like, maybe you guys disagree, maybe you guys agree. I mean, if you agree, you're probably just gotta say you're probably wrong on that one, but you know, my opinion's the correct one to have, that Mr. Bones is complete garbage. Yes, I did pay off Sega Lord X to say that. That's where the SHIRO funds have been going to make him say that that game is hot garbaggio. There's a reason why it's in the garbage bin in my satiator, or my Fenrir, I guess now it's known as. But still, bad game, garbage goes. And I'm glad people starting to realize it. But like, I do agree, pretty much I agreed with the video 100%. The soundtrack to Ronnie Montrose is amazing. Oh, explain why regional distance isn't a thing anymore with Netflix these days. There is still some issues with the. Oh, Dave's back. I'll put him on the video now. Sorry, and I took your space for a little bit there.
It's okay. Yeah, I saw that. Symbiosis face took
a little bit.
And I know how to say that, Night. Yeah, Symbios. I always thought it was Symbios. Apparently, other people say Synbios.
Neon Genesis Symbiosis.
You're talking about Netflix or what?
What?
Wait, what were you guys talking about?
Regional Sega Lord X's review of Mr. Bones, and he asked the regional the regional distance isn't a thing anymore with Netflix. Netlink, sorry, Netlink. I don't know why I said Netflix. They didn't make me say Netflix.
Well, I mean, I had a pretty good match with Emily. Considering the fact that I was also dual streaming at the time, I think that if I did a match, and this was before I made all those improvements to my network, so I think if I had a match with her again, and she's in the UK, and I wasn't streaming, which adds overhead, I think maybe it would be better, And I also noticed that doing Netlink, at least for me, doing it in the evening for some reason makes a difference. I have better overall than doing it in the afternoon for whatever reason. That's anti-logic, considering that the evening is like prime time streaming, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of weird. Like I said, it shouldn't be too much of an issue because you're technically it's like a narrow band and it goes giant to narrow again, so there shouldn't be much lag between that besides the natural lag of the internet, because technically you're sending a phone signal across the world, but you're not technically sending it across the world. It's going through a internet thing and then to that. So
I think but it really has everything to do with like your ping, like how quickly you're sending the tiny little bits of data.
Yeah.
You know, it's not because you don't need to have a huge amount of bandwidth. It's more about you have to have a really, really low ping so that you can just get the information over faster, you know?
Mm.
And then if the game, there were a couple matches where we just desynced, and I was like, I'm winning. And in fact, I'm killing you, you know, and he's like, no, I'm winning. Like, wait, what? We can't both be in first place. We just like our game's desynced completely.
Just glitches out.
Yeah, it gets to the point where it like you break away, and then all of a sudden the game just starts running completely smoothly as if it were just offline, because it is technically offline. Like they just completely
gave up.
Untether from each other. Yeah. It's just kind of funny, but sorry about the robotic voice. I hope folks don't, you know, leave the stream on account of it, but I don't know what else to do for now, at least.
It's all good. We'll figure that out. But Camcast, you don't need a Dream. I mean, you can use Dreampad to play online, but you can use a PC. Yes, local wins. Got you with that answer. Baba Booey. But what was the other answer? Oh, somebody asked why should we use Xband over Netlink? It's mostly because the Netlink routers are more expensive, and while technically it's faster, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Is that what that is?
There's literally no reason now to use one over the other. They're both fine. You get a Netlink modem, get an Xband modem. Joe wrote the tunnel to work fine with both of them, so it makes literally no difference. And if you are talking about that, then you're probably looking at the old guide that was, you know, VoIP. That was the VoIP. With the VoIP solution, yeah, there was a difference where all in all, the Japanese modem was recommended, but now that's not the case. So just get whatever you can, whatever's available, whatever's cheapest.
Yeah, somebody said there's a short list. There's a list, but there's not like a physical list. It's just like
yeah. When I say no short list, it's like if you're a patron subscriber and you're interested, then you're on the short list.
Yeah.
You know, we're just you know, let us know that you're interested, and we will make a note of it, because yeah, what we're really interested in is folks being active users of the Netlink and active roster members, because you know, we'll basically give you a role in Discord, and then when anybody says, you know, at Netlink roster, is anybody available to play, you know, hopefully there'll be somebody around that's available to play at any time, depending on where they are in the world, and it'll help bolster the community.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, we don't do. I know a lot of people ask about pre-orders and stuff, but we can't really do that because we don't really feel comfortable holding your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's nothing that because we don't have an ETA on when this is gonna be ready. It's literally just gonna be when Knight's installed all of them and put them in there, and then we print up a guide and throw it in there and send it. So
yeah, if you want a chance at one of these, and you're not just a collector looking to put it on your shelf, just be active in our Discord so that we see you, and if you've mentioned that you're interested and that you are serious about this, then that's fine. You know, it's like I don't think it's going to be an issue. The folks that are actually interested in joining and getting the setup are the ones it's going to go to, you know.
Yeah, because these are not going to be new in box. The things we ship, it's going to be opened up, and we're going to be putting the stuff inside of there. So if you're hoping to use it to get like I'm getting a brand new, no, you're not. We're opening it up, so it's technically not going to be a new in box anymore. I mean, technically, I don't think there's a seal on it, so I don't think there's a way to tell. But like, we're not going to be like, SHIRO edition, we'll throw a sticker on there or some shit. It'll just be like, this is what it is. and everything's going to be tested. So yeah, there's not going to be any new in-box stuff. It'll just be it has been unused in the box.
Yeah, it does come with a phone cable. So
Yeah,
does so do the modems.
I think it comes with 2 phone cables actually, or something crazy.
Yeah, the USB modems came with phone cables, and so did the X-band modems. So,
oh, excuse me. Yeah, so you'll have enough phone cables. We'll put 2 of them in there, so that way you'll be able to. Oh, Danther said SHIRO sticker on each modem is a great idea. I think I like it personally. I think that's really cool. But I think Knight brought up a good point where people might treat it as a SHIRO collector's edition thing and want to get it just for that versus wants to use it. But I do like the idea. I do like it. And I think it's a neat idea. But again, it's like there's issues with that. Like people will treat it like as a SHIRO edition collector's thing and sell it for hundreds of dollars and not open it up, and it's like, yeah. SHIRO sticker edition goes for $200.
I don't even know if our name means that much. Like in any if it carries that kind of value. I would be like, oh dang it, they put this ugly SHIRO sticker on it. Now I can't put it on my shelf with all my other. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, people are selling those games that you did the art for. So
true.
Well, what we could do is make little credit cards that go into the credit card slot.
That'd be kind of neat.
How much do you want to add to the overhead of what these things cost?
Yeah, it's cool,
whatever people want to pay.
Whatever people want to pay. But again, like I have a feeling that the folks that are serious about playing Netlink are not necessarily, they want to do it. They want to get in as cheap as they can. Otherwise they probably would have bought one already.
Yeah.
They probably would have gotten one for $100 on eBay or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Various collector's cards, yeah. It'll just be me naked, it'll just be me like this, like my upper half will be blocked, my lower half will be blocked by the modem insert, and you pull it out and it's like me in a Speedo or something. That sounds like a good idea, right, Dave?
Pat in a Speedo?
No, like
again,
like have a card, have me on the card slide in the modem. It's like my upper half's like this, and then it's like my lower half's blocked by the insertion in the modem. Yeah,
no, you got to do the George Costanza on the couch, with the sidey whiteys.
Exactly.
And you'll have the Netlink and that would be, I don't know. There's probably people out there that would totally buy that. But anyway.
But yeah, no, that's definitely an option. But no, probably we're just gonna like literally throw the modem in there, have the wires and shit, and then there you go, you're good to go.
Do we have news to talk about?
We do have a little bit of news, a tiny bit of news.
I probably got a drop at like 4 or shortly after 4 this time around. So
we're almost done anyway. So alrighty, so let's get some good news articles. Let's start with this one, the Editor's Corner. Do you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Sure. Yeah. So Peter and I, it was his idea. He bought an EverDrive for his Genesis. I guess the first ODE he's ever had, or flash cart or whatever. Which was a surprise to me. But Peter, he's like hardcore into like collecting actual games. So Peter's got like an insane physical collection. So he hasn't really had a need to get an ODE. But when it comes to the Genesis, that collection takes up quite a bit of space with those big bulky cases and whatnot. So I could understand him wanting to, fill out an EverDrive with a bunch of games. So he bought like the Crick's new one with the Sega CD emulation and everything. Mm-hmm. And that got him thinking that, we should cover games that started out on the Mega Drive or Genesis and made it over to Saturn, and then the several ones that didn't, So, essentially the theme is that Sega did this flip-flopping thing with their consoles where, at least, I don't know about Master System to Genesis, but definitely like with the Genesis, you'd have a bunch of beloved franchises that just wouldn't see the light of day at all on Saturn. And then on Saturn, you'd have the birth of several beloved franchises that wouldn't see the light of day on Dreamcast, or subsequently, for that matter, if we're talking like, you know, Bug or Clockwork Knight, or I don't know, insert a stall. Well, that wasn't really a franchise, that was a one-off, but essentially, yeah, you'd have these franchises that would just never see the light of day.
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, exactly. And, you know, I think that it kind of, for really hardcore Sega fans, we just love it all. And every system has a flavor to it, you know? So it's like you tend to have a favorite Sega console because it has a very strong flavor that is made up of whatever franchises it has, you know? With the Saturn...
Linko for the $2. Pudgy money for Pudgy Bunny. Thank you. I think the money goes to us, not her, but I guess in spirit.
right. Pudgy money for Pudgy Bunny. Well, we could probably Venmo her or something.
I guess we'll send it to Dan.
We can do that.
I'm sure he could send the money through.
But yeah, so you know, Genesis had, or Mega Drive, if you like, was probably most mainstream in the States, I would say, and it had, you know, most of its games were pretty like, every system had that arcade heritage, but I would argue that Genesis was like pretty mainstream and safe with a lot of its choices. Saturn, of course, was really quirky, at least in the West. Lots of quirky franchises and really weird out there experiences. And then Dreamcast was like, I don't know. How would you describe or characterize Dreamcast? I feel like they took the most risks with Dreamcast, honestly.
I don't know. Like, I think they went all in on all the arcades, some of the arcade stuff. But like, I think in terms of the franchise they have, they kind of dropped the ball. Like, I think the
definitely
only real franchise that really got love on the Dreamcast was Virtua Cop and Sonic Adventure, really.
Sonic.
I mean, like, because Virtua Cop 2, or wasn't that was just a port of the Saturn version too, right?
Right.
So it's like
my memory is you putting me on the spot here, but my general feeling with Dreamcast is that they just were throwing things at the wall with Seaman and Choo Choo Rocket and the Space Channel 5. It had the most like so you got Cosmic Smash, really like off the wall game ideas, even more so than Saturn. Saturn, I feel like, has quite a bit of quirk and charm in its titles and stuff like that. But even then, you know, the Dreamcast was arguably probably weirder in a good way, though, always in a good way. But every console kind of has its own every console has its own personality, is what I meant to say. So,
but yeah, I definitely feel like this Saturn at least tried to carry on some of the legacy of the Genesis.
Yeah,
they had stuff
to a
like
degree.
they had a Golden Axe game on the Saturn, right?
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Is it wasn't a Golden Axe game. It was a fighting game, and it was a lackluster fighting game at that. So
yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad you're bringing it up, because that's the whole thing. Is we were hard pressed to find that many franchises where they really carried it on, and where it wasn't just in name alone. You know, with Golden Axe, the Duel, it wasn't cutting edge 3D, okay, and then on top of that, it wasn't like anything special as far as a fighter goes. We didn't get Eternal Champions, which would have been the 2D fighter that we wanted. If we got a Golden Axe game, it would have been amazing to have something more like D&D, you know, Shadows over Mystara.
That game is actually really sick. Go play that game.
So if they had brought that to the West, then everyone would have been happy, right? And that was the thing. This is a retrospective cast where we're really talking about our own memories. So I was not importing games at that time, and I didn't know about those brawlers. But yeah, so would have loved to have a Golden Axe game, you know, a proper Golden Axe game. So I wasn't thrilled with Golden Axe the Duel. And nowadays, if you're going to spend $60 to $80, I don't know how much it's at now. If you're going to spend that much on a long box, get yourself Night Warriors or something like that.
Get yourself checked into an asylum. You don't want to spend that much money.
I'm just saying there are other games that you could buy that are better fighting games. Get Street Fighter Alpha 2, you know?
Get Street Fighter Alpha 3, get Street Fighter Alpha, get King of Fighters 95 through 97, get God forbid get any of the Samurai Showdown games. God forbid, what else? Did I miss any other fighters?
Get an ODE.
Get an ODE. Save yourself some money.
Just get an ODE. And you know what? If you have an ODE or if you burn discs, try out Golden Axe the Duel and let me know what you think. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It was just a disappointment. That's all. And
like most of the Golden Axe games, cool looking, but just disappointments.
Well, you know, Sonic R was a disappointment to a lot of people because it wasn't the Sonic game that people really wanted, you know, and people were not stupid. They weren't like, oh yeah, you're gonna put this on the placemat in front of me and say, eat up, you know, this is great, right? It's just exactly what we promised you. No, you know, people actually wanted Sonic Extreme, and that didn't happen because they weren't ready. They weren't ready to make Sonic work on the Saturn. You know, it just didn't have the speed.
Yeah, but no. In all honesty, though, I really love the vibe of both the Saturn and the Dreamcast, especially the Japanese version of each. Like, I think those are my two favorite consoles, just because their vibe and there's so many good games. Like, and there's so much like weird stuff that you wouldn't expect from anything. Yeah,
I mean, I love the Saturn for what it is, not for what it's not.
What it was, is, and will always be.
Yeah,
just joking on the Saturn.
And people in Japan knew what was up. Like, they just, I don't know, the Saturn just not only did so much better there, but people just loved it, you know. And we have another article about Isekai Oji-san that Dan put up, and I binged that. I binged those episodes last night, and it was, again, like, they just love the Saturn so much. They actually have quite a bit of service in there for Genesis as well, or Mega Drive, you know. None for Dreamcast, right? Because Dreamcast didn't really do very well in Japan. Is that right?
I thought it did pretty well. They had quite a lot of games for it, and I mean, probably wasn't as a big a hit as the Saturn was, but
right. I know the Mega Drive was not a huge success by any means in Japan, and I can't remember whether the Dreamcast was a better success or not. I can't remember, because I know by that time the PS2 was just crazy. Like, people were crazy for PlayStation at that point. So
it is funny how Americanized these Dreamcast was and how popular that was compared to the Saturn, which was very,
I know,
like, mega pop. Like, it literally has thousands of games on it versus Dreamcast, where it maybe has maybe top 700 total.
Yeah.
Like the American one, they just turned into it was what the PS2 was. It was the dude bro console, you know, playing some Madden, some NFL, just some, was it the 2K Sports, playing all sports games and stuff. That's like the dude bro thing. Like, they had Fred Durst, Snoop Dogg, like, promoting this thing. Like, it was hot. Like, it was what they wanted the Saturn to be.
I think the advertising can't be understated. Like, that was a really big deal. And actually, the more that I've talked about it recently with folks, be it the Sega guys in the UK, or with you talking about the Dreamcast on that episode and stuff, I'm thinking, like, Bernie Stoller actually didn't do a bad job at all with the Dreamcast, right? Like, he did a pretty good job with that launch, right? Don't you think?
That's why I like Bernie Stoller so much. He put in path and set in motion the advertisement and the setup to make Dreamcast so successful. Because you can honestly blame Tom Kalinske for the slow launch and the sluggish options for the Saturn. Saturn one that dropped. Like, Bernie was harsh on it, but I mean, like, believe it or not, Bernie was right. Like, marketing the sports games and stuff on the Dreamcast, because that's what sold that thing and made it so popular. All the dude bros playing it, you know. And
here's the thing.
Oh, sorry, you go.
The name that nobody's mentioning, and I think it's the most important name actually, is not Tom Kalinske, because Tom Kalinske did not want to put the Saturn out when he did, right? His hand was forced on that, and he said it several times, and I believe it, right? the problem was they lost Steve Race. Steve Race was their marketing guy in the Genesis days, right? He was the mastermind behind getting the Genesis out into stores and having kids play it, like get hands-on with it. His was the grassroots kind of campaign idea that he ended up using with the PlayStation. And you had the PlayStation like out in clubs and in malls and stuff like that, and people could play it, you know. He was a brilliant marketing VP, and the fact that he left Sega right before the Saturn came out and went to the enemy and probably gave them tons of valuable information in the process on their competition, and then also put into effect a lot of his marketing strategies that he used in the Genesis era. And then who did you have? You had Tom Kalinske, who's a good CEO. You know, he made a lot of cool moves prior to that as far as the CEO goes, but he wasn't like the head of marketing, you know. They lost their marketing powerhouse with Steve Race, and nobody. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so when Bernie came to the picture, he was actually a really smart businessman, and I think that he hired the right people and got the right thing going with the Dreamcast. Yeah, the Dreamcast had a much more stellar launch in the US, and we definitely knew all about it because it was Dreamcast everywhere, right? The ads were everywhere.
It was everywhere. Just Dreamcast games left and right. There's so much stuff. So much stuff is ridiculous.
It was the opposite of the Saturn. It was night and day opposite of the Saturn in terms of like you knew about it, you knew it was cool, and the games, the launch games were fantastic. You know, so
for sure. Yeah, I just think, like I said, it's just kind of funny that by the time they caught up and they realized what they needed to do with the Dreamcast, it was a little bit too late. You know?
Yeah. It really was. It really was a shame that all of the mistakes that came before that the Dreamcast had to inherit and kind of like overcome, but it was just too much to overcome. And I often argue that had it had a DVD ROM drive, that might have been enough to save it just by getting it installed in many households just as a DVD player. You know, it would have been a loss leader. You know, they probably would have lost money on it, but they would have made it back in software. But that wasn't the kind of strategy that Sega of Japan wanted to do by that time. They were like, we're done losing money.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny how Nintendo was so stubborn on that as well, and they were still, I mean, they suffered a lot of their consoles up to before the GameCube and Wii U really suffered because of that, because there wasn't really a DVD drive in it. I mean, now it doesn't matter, it's all digital, so it doesn't matter either way. But the idea is that like the GameCube, like everyone got Xbox and PS2, so it's a, like you were saying, it's a DVD drive and it's a console, so it's like, why not buy it like that? Versus the GameCube and the Wii U and the Wii, it's just it's like you could play DVDs, they just didn't enable it. It's like, all right.
For nearly a decade, the industry had been touting this idea of a multimedia center, you know, with the CDI and the 3DO and even the Saturn says it on, you know, like play movies. Yeah, but it was always like some crappy, it was VCD, right? It was a format that wasn't even existent in the US, you know, at least commercially. And people were not dumb, you know, they were like, okay, well, show me a multimedia center that's actually affordable and I'll buy it. And so when the PlayStation 2 came to market, it was like, okay, finally, here's a game console that plays games and DVDs. That's a multimedia center, you know, if there ever was one. And the Dreamcast could have been that too, you know. And it could have not had the stupid GD-ROM proprietary disc format that probably cost them more to develop. And then on top of that had the mill CD exploit. It's so stupid, like how quickly people figured out how to defeat that when you consider like it took folks a while to be able to afford to burn DVDs, much less figure out how to do it, you know?
Exactly. And it just one thing after another, but I guess at the end of the day, we just have to accept the truth and accept what it is, but you know.
But we love these consoles despite their failure, and they have a ton of personality, and that's the thing. So yeah, it's rough that they didn't kind of continue their franchises across all the platforms to kind of keep things consistent. But yeah, no, each console kind of has a wildly different personality as a result of the games that are on it. We don't have to talk about this article anymore. We can move on, but that's kind of the gist of it if you guys don't want to listen to it.
I'd recommend it. All right, so the next one, Doom, Best of Saturn. So this was really revolutionary.
Worst of Saturn.
the worst of Saturn, the best of Saturn, the worst of Saturn.
Right.
I'd say it's the mid of Saturn. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's really revolutionary game coming on Saturn, but due to John Carmack's inconsistency of not reusing the PS1 engine and rewriting a new one.
Doo-doo.
Yeah, it's doo-doo now.
Okay.
But
I'm a kindergartner. But anyway,
and it really just fell in low frame rate and laggy controls and just really bad visual effects. But there's a lot of really cool things. Well, actually, this is kind of a misnomer. It's actually Doom 1 and 2 because it has all the levels of Doom 1 and 2. And even the coolest thing about that, which I like, is that the European and the Japanese version have a co-op versus via the Tyson cable. So I did not realize that. That's kind of cool. So for deathmatch and co-op. So if you want to get a Tyson cable and
10 frames per second.
Yeah.
Right. John Carmack, it's fair, right? It's fair to put this on him because there are several people that have gone on record. So essentially he didn't like affine texture warping, which is really more of a thing with the PlayStation, if we're being honest. Like because of how Saturn renders 3D using the warped sprites, I don't even know that it would have been an issue. And I mean, if you look at stuff like XL2 is doing, you could see that it's not. But yeah, he hated affine texture warping, which was a huge thing that plagued the PlayStation because it doesn't have a Z buffer. And so, yeah, he was like, no, you just need to code it on the CPU, like instead of using the actual VDPs or whatever. Yeah, so this game could have been so much better, but it's essentially what it is. Honestly, a lot of folks want to get it just because it's Doom, right?
Yeah, it's Doom. I mean, you can't beat it.
The box art looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play one of the worst versions of Doom, you can get it on Saturn, but a game that should be more than playable on the Saturn is just, absolute dog crap.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what system do you recommend folks play it on? What console? 32X? PC. Well, I asked what console.
Console. Console. I guess console.
Atari Jaguar.
Honestly, get the Xbox 360, the BFG edition.
Right. Which is essentially a PC.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, I guess in terms of consoles, just get on the stores on the newer ones because that's probably the most smoothest way to play it.
To be honest, the Jag and 32X versions were not bad.
This needed the music on the 32X version of it.
Yeah, exactly. So they weren't perfect, obviously, and they were
it's the Jaguar that needed the music. It was the music
Jaguar had no music, right?
Yeah, it was the 32X. The music sucked on though. And
the Jaguar was just no music, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, there were better versions for sure. But the 3DO one was Rebecca Heinemann, right? Where she had to like do it in 1 week or something like that. So that one was pretty bad too.
Version.
Yeah, that was terrible.
So yeah, if you guys want to hear that disaster, go watch that video on YouTube. There's a bunch of videos of Rebecca Heinemann talking about it, and it was not fun.
Oh, Memphis mentioned the homebrew 32X version, Doom Resurrection. That's a good call out. So yeah, there are definitely better systems to play this on. But yeah, if you want a slideshow, the Saturn is the place to be.
Sounds good. All right, so we should probably head on. We're pretty much out of time, almost out of time. So you probably should talk about.
It's not a hard limit. It's just I gotta.
We'll finish this up and then we'll head out.
Sure.
So all episodes of Uncle from Another World finally in English, subbed and dubbed. So yes, they were waiting on the dub for the Netflix, right?
Go for the sub. I can't do the dub. I tried. It's terrible. I'm sorry. It is terrible. So like, you know, Dan knows this. Lacquerware, those guys, they do dubs, right? They dub these games, and what do they have to do? They have to try to get somebody that sounds like the equivalent, right, of the Japanese actor in English, you know, and get as close as that as they can, so they can capture the same vibe, the same personality. This does not. I tried doing the dub just for a little bit to see, and I was just like, oh my god, the uncle, like he sounds completely wrong, you know. And several of the other characters, just they got the most generic voice actors. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be negative, but for me, it's the just subs all the way with the original voice actors is the way to go. But the show is great. I can't say anything bad about the show. I love the show. I just don't like the dub. I'm sorry. I'm really opinionated about that.
Yeah. So like where I said, do you ever see the Simpsons Japanese dub? I did not, but I did watch a dub of The Sopranos in Japanese, and that was a trip. And King of the Hill.
Have you watched any of the newer episodes, Pat, yet?
I have not. I still think I'm on episode 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay. Oh well, you should just start from the beginning then, and just go.
Yeah, it's
since
only
it's not.
A couple episodes.
One little trick or one little thing to note is you might get used to hitting next episode on Netflix, but after they roll credits on just a couple episodes, there's like a good, I don't know, like 3 minutes of extra content. And it's not on every episode. It's just on a couple of the episodes. There's actual plot development after the credits. So once I found that out, I was like, I got to go back and look in these previous episodes to see what I missed. And there actually was a couple of scenes, you know, that I missed after the credits. So it's crazy. It's a good show, though. I had fun. I hope they do more. But yes. I don't know. Dan, maybe Dan can comment since he wrote the article. I'm just curious if he wants to add anything. Or not.
Dubs for life.
Oh, dubs for life. Did you like the dub?
No, I heard 2 words of it accidentally. Well, actually, I think one of these tweets that I posted might have an example of the English dub. But yeah, so I watched 3 of the 6 new episodes last night. I'm gonna watch the other 3 probably tonight or tomorrow. I really loved it. I really missed this show. It's so good.
Yes.
It really legitimately makes me laugh a lot. It's a very funny show.
It is a funny show.
Yeah. But like, because I watched the first 7 episodes with subs,
you got used to those voices, right?
Well, I just decided to stick with subs for the rest of them because I think they have they have different scripts for each one. And one of these tweets that I posted here, he says that he that the director allowed him to just like just kind of go off the cuff and put his own humor and mannerisms into it and blah blah blah. So that's telling me that they just kind of did whatever the hell they wanted with the dub, and I'm kind of sus about it.
I didn't notice that because I went backwards. Like I rewound and watched the same scenes a couple times comparing, and it was like they were reading the exact same lines. Yeah, but again, like maybe I just didn't watch the right scenes. Maybe there are instances of them ad-libbing that I missed because, again, admittedly, I didn't stick with the dub. I watched one episode with the dub, and I was like, this is rough. This is hard for me. I don't know. I'm sure other people can relate. Like Pat, when you watch Initial D with the subs, you know, and then you try to watch it with the dub, it's just weird, you know. I'm used to those characters' voices.
Yeah, the Japanesism, like the was it the crap for the anti-backfiring system that they said, and like all the English stuff they say, anti-backfiring system, and like you miss all those funny like lines and stuff. But yeah. The dub of and the new dub of Initial D actually is pretty decent.
Yeah, the new one is pretty decent, but that's the thing. I feel like they went back and put in the love and care to kind of like bring over. There's a lot that is inferred by tone, you know. And so when you're listening to these Japanese voices, like for example, Oji-san, or I don't want to say his full name because that's a spoiler, but
yeah,
essentially he has a really low voice, right? He has this like really deep voice. They got some dude that sounds like Dennis Leary or something like that. You know, some dude with like a really high pitched voice to be Oji-san, and I'm just like, that is a complete mismatch. It's not. It doesn't have it carry any of the same weight. You know, the way that he talks. You know, and that he's so stoic and he's so cold. Like, it's just wrong. You know.
I'm not a fan of this. Like self-directed and improvised 85% of my dialogue. I don't like that. I mean, I think Danthrax, I think you probably lose your mind if you had to improvise. If they improvise 8%, 85% of any of your games.
I hope he's exaggerating that. I don't know. I mean, having worked on Bulk Slash and Stellar Assault, and not being the translator, lack of where is, but I helped with editing and brainstorming to translate some of the more strange lines, trying to figure out a way to make it work in English. I totally understand where there are some things that are really hard to bring across in English.
Yeah.
Or sense in Japanese, and so you have to get kind of creative with it.
Yes.
But you shouldn't have to do that with 85% of the dialogue. Like,
yeah.
I mean, just gotta let the joke as it was in Japanese like go in English, and just expect people to just go along with the ride for it. You know what I mean?
I just hope they don't remove all the video game humor of it, and like the nobody will know what a Sega Saturn is. Why don't we remove references to? And it's like
changed. And I'd be interested in seeing a comparison of the difference between the sub and the dub. It'd be really weird if it were both, or if they were the same. I mean, because if they're the same, then it's like, what is he talking about here? And if are the subs completely different from
the dub? Yeah.
From his original script, like are we reading something that's highly changed? Was the original script to the show that hard to understand in English in any form? I don't know.
And again, the original script is based on the manga, so it's like if you stray too far from that, I feel like you're straying too far from the artist's intent. People need to embrace the cultural differences. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is to watch an anime and kind of get into it. And if there's some kind of thing that goes over your head culturally, I mean, look it up. Like that's how you learn more, and you embrace that culture, and you come to understand that rather than just try to localize it to suit your own understanding.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's something you don't understand, inevitably some other weeb has asked it, and some bigger weeb has answered the question out there on the internet.
Yeah,
So,
I don't mind localization, honestly.
You got to trust your audience a little bit, and all this is still sort of speculation because I have no idea what they changed. But what he said there is a little. It kind of put me off from switching over to the dub. I'm like, are these different scripts? Because some games will do different scripts, like the Yakuza games. Sega does different scripts for the dubs and the subs, and they have said that like the dubs, they're a little more creative with it to make it sound natural in spoken English, while with the subs, it's a little more straightforward. This is what they're saying in Japanese, and we're just giving it to you.
Right.
They did here.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite differences is that in High Score Girl, which is another retro game show on Netflix, they actually translate in the dub. They actually say the U.S. names of it. So when they say, every time they say like PC Engine, they say Turbo Graphics, or they'll say this or that, or Mega Drive, or like a Super Genesis instead of Mega Drive and stuff like that. And I thought it's interesting. The point where even the subs say that, where you have the subs, you hear them say PC Engine, and it's like, oh, Turbo Graphics are the subtitles, which I think is kind of funny.
And that, because then, your English speaking audience is going to understand, potentially what TurboGrafx 16 is.
Well, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people know that console that's in the US.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so it's not a well-known console. It's not a great example, but Genesis and Mega Drive.
Yeah.
A lot of speakers are going to know what a Genesis is, and Americans, I guess specifically, might
America.
not know what Drive is, or they might be annoyed hearing Mega Drive instead of Genesis. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, localizing this and that, not a big deal, but it's important to get a cast that sounds or is able to kind of like sound like the original actors. At least I felt like this was a budget cast. It sounds like a budget cast, whereas like you take something like Pokemon, where it's wildly popular and they're willing to spend the money, they get someone like Veronica Taylor doing Ash. It's a girl doing Ash, but she does an amazing job. And I don't know, and it captures the vibe of I've watched both the Japanese and the American versions and it just captures the vibe so well. And you guys, as an example, with Stellar Assault, I think you guys did your due diligence with several auditions and getting the right people so that it sounds very much like the original game, even though it's completely in English. And,
even the director of the game said that he was surprised how much the voices sounded like the original Japanese.
It's so important because it carries the same weight. The scenes carry the same weight. It feels the same. I feel like I can go back and forth between the Japanese one and the English one at least the levels that I've played, and I know now what they're saying in Japanese, and it almost feels like the same thing. It's almost like the crossover is incredible, like interchangeable, so that's great. You guys, I mean, I'm not trying to stroke your ego, but I'm just saying, I know you guys worked hard. I know you guys worked hard to do that, and you have high standards, and I'm glad that you do, because you're not getting paid anything, but you're not treating it like a budget localization. Like you're doing the best you can. Whereas this is like, well, we got to get it in English. Let's, hire a quick budget cast or whatever. And like the main character is the uncle, and he doesn't sound anything like himself. And
it's funny when you mentioned the Pokemon dubbing.
Sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
I say so it's funny when you mentioned the Pokemon dubbing, Dave. You know that the person that Jeremy Blaustein, right?
Mm-hmm.
He his sister Maddie Blaustein actually did the voice of Meow. R.I.P. Maddie.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of funny. I never saw that until I never realized that until I looked up Jeremy. I was like, oh wait, he's related to Maddie Blaustein. I didn't even know that. I thought it was coincidental. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, R.I.P. Maddie Blaustein, one of the best, one of the most influential and one of the best voice actors of all time.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, since you did bring up Stellar Assault real quick, that I put up a poll today on Twitter, asking people to identify how they play translation patch Sega Saturn games. Because I've kind of wondered this since Bulk Slash, when we had kind of a minor fiasco where we didn't test the patch with Midnafin, and Nafin specific issue with the patch where it wouldn't, the game wouldn't run because like a region we enabled all the regions, and that made the Beetle core of RetroArch, which is basically Midnafin, freak out. So I asked people, okay, do you play translation patches by burning a disk and putting in your console, by using an ODE in your console, with an emulator, whether it's on your cell phone or on a PC, or with the Mister FPGA? It only let me do 4 options for the poll, much to my chagrin. So I did go with that and just ask people to identify what ODE or emulator they use. I just want to say, so far, we've got 59 votes, and if anybody's listening and they want to go vote, that would be awesome, because I'd like as much data as possible, so we kind of have an idea of what we should.
It's on your Twitter, right?
It's on my Twitter, yeah, Dambo_4.
Let me go search that right now. Oh wow, it popped up when I clicked refresh. How convenient! Thank you, Twitter, for actually doing something useful. But yeah, you could see which one I voted for, the superior option.
Well, and Mister is pretty low, which makes sense because the core isn't even complete, and a lot of people, or several people said, once the core is complete, I'm gonna switch to Mister. But for now, I use something else. It seems like the Satiator rather is the most popular ODE, followed closely by Fenrir.
Mister.
There are a few people who use the mode, or like the Rhea or Phoebe. So there's kind of a mix out there. Not a whole lot of people using emulator, although it is the second most popular option. It seems like a lot of people are using Midnafin or the version of Manafin that's in RetroArch.
This
No
guy
one's
right
really
here is an satiator.
surprisingly. I guess I'm the
Pat.
only one to have a SHIRO.
Pat, that Mr. Vote was more of a flex than anything. Let's be honest.
I did it just to support
The master,
option.
the master Mr. race or the Mr. Master race.
It's the Mr. Master.
Yeah,
that's what they call me, the Mr. Master.
Because you don't want to be playing Saturn on that core yet.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably not going to run very well, but
then again, Pat can play Saturn like a million different ways. Am I right?
Upside down, left and right.
He's got he doesn't have the kiosk anymore, but you do have like multiple Saturns.
I mean, I could throw it in an arcade machine. In the arcade machine,
could
an option, and the TV as well.
So if anybody's listening to this as a podcast, I'll just read off that as of right now, with 59 votes, we've got 57% respond with an ODE, 27% an emulator, 8.5% burned discs, and 6.8% the Mister. So, it's interesting to see. There are a lot of people out there using ODEs.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Discs were fine.
I thought they were gonna be higher.
Burn discs were fine for me until I got involved with SHIRO, and then it was like I need to like burn revisions of revisions, or I need to like right, Pat? Like I couldn't do this without an ODE.
Yeah, it's like we were literally burning so many discs because like it's like I think I remember saying I burnt, and like you and Pandemonium were like we burnt so many different versions of the disc. Like just get an ODE, dude. You probably save so much money.
Seriously,
and it's like now just throw the file on there, Baba Booey. You can You can
there was a time when if you're just burning games to play them and that's it, but like when you're doing coverage and stuff like that, and then things keep changing, or we keep getting new levels of Stellar Assault, I don't want to have to keep burning it over and over again. So that's where the ODE really comes in handy.
I like your mountain bike, by the way, Dave.
What?
I like your mountain bike, by the way, Dave. The yellow bike in the background.
What are you talking about?
There's a yellow bike in your background.
Okay.
I'm just saying I saw it off screen. I just thought it was interesting.
There is no yellow bike in my background.
Yeah, it is. It's
that's not a mountain bike. That's Jesse's bike.
Oh, it looks like a bike. I know who's
it is a bike. It's Jesse's little. He's way too big to ride that anymore.
It's out of the peripheral vision of the viewers through TV magic.
Through the magic of television. Yes, you can. You had me wondering, like, what are you talking about? Okay,
I see the bike.
I'll take your word for it.
I can see the yellow bike, but no. Anyways, it isn't. I suggest voting on the poll. I'm actually going to right after this show. I'm not gonna do a game stream today, but I'm gonna start adding in the backlog. Like I think I'm gonna do 4 podcasts back and just do the audio out for that, just so we can have that on there again. I keep forgetting to do that, and like people have been messaging me saying, why is the feed not getting updated? So
put an alarm on your phone or something, or notification.
I've been having a busy weekends the last few months. It's just like one thing after another. But I'm gonna upload starting like 3-4 podcasts ago. So hopefully that'll be consistent. Sorry about that again. So hopefully I would not treat the podcast thing as an archive. I probably should create an archive for that though, but I just don't have the time to go back and edit every single one.
Yeah.
Sucks. But anyways, I'll start doing that. Sorry guys. There's a bike. So Pat's not crazy.
There is a bike. It's just not a mountain bike.
I thought it was. It looked like a mountain bike.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else on the news feed? No?
I think that's about it. Go watch Oji-san. Was it something Oji-san or Uncle from Another World? No,
okay, we've got
Oji-san.
31 people watching and only 20 likes. What is with that? We have a bunch of enemies watching the stream right now. You guys don't like it? Let us know in the comments.
You don't like it?
We'll ignore it.
I'll show you we can stick it. No, I'm not that kind of person.
10 peeps are lurking.
For the bike.
Like for the bike.
I don't even think you're out.
Pay for shipping.
I don't even think you're out of frame enough. I think I cut you off so much that you can't. Yeah, you can't even see the bike out of your thing. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna edit it. So
It's
there's a
down
bike there.
There's a bike down there
Oops,
somewhere.
crap. Oh no, no, now you can see my stuff.
Oh, no.
Ignore me. Ignore that. You don't see that. No, there's nothing there. Also, why am I so big?
The show is falling apart.
I'm falling apart. Oh shit, falling apart right now. I am a hot mess.
One side makes you smaller.
Exactly. But yeah, you saw my CRTs. Hopefully you like that. We like that. Ooh, got a new pledge. Well, actually, that's not new. Chronoly gave a pledge for $3, so thank you. I didn't shout that out.
Yeah, thank you to Chrono.
Chronology. But yeah, let me speaking of that, let me get the patrons up, and we'll give them a shout out before we go. So let's see, current tier. So big shouts to Murder of Crows, Blue Moon 95, Emerald Nova, Johannes Fetz, Nate Lawrence, Cerillion, Chris 1997XX, Derek aka A-Team, Fat Trunk Friend Otaku, Jim Clasher Rank, Justin, Momphis, Normal Guy, Nutrageous, Robert Ramsey, Rowan Dish, Sega Steve, Stoneman, Tanuki Trev, Duran Brown, and Young Money Sawee. If you guys want to get shout out on the SHIRO show, you could back us at the $10 and up level. We will give you the shout outs. We'll give you the good stuff. If you want to, if you back us at the $3 and up level, you get early content. So early SHIRO shows, access to early patches, which I should really put up because I'm really bad at doing that. But yeah, Tony gets you this. Oh, also, $1 and up actually gets you shout out the magazine when we get that started up. You also get the ability to register first for the Netlink. So if you want to get a Netlink, don't miss Amazon link. People will get moody. What Amazon links? Do we have Amazon links?
What?
Dan said, "Do not miss." No, it was David Zaney. Sorry, I thought it was you, Dan Thrax. I'm sorry, I saw a D and just assumed things. I make too much assumptions. Yeah, $100,000 and up, and Pat will get a tattoo of your. Yeah, if you pay us $100,000 a month, I'll get I'll get a tattoo of you on my arm because you probably funded SHIRO for the next 30 years. So, thanks for that. Yeah, if you guys want to fund SHIRO for the next 30 years, I will get a tattoo of your name on my body, and you could pick, just not the face and the forehead, anywhere but that, and I'll get your name.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that might whatever. No one's gonna donate $100,000 anyway.
If
so
you
what does it
fund
matter?
this show for the next 30 years, then Pat and I will get on a helicopter and fly to an island with dinosaurs on it, and we'll run for our lives while velociraptors try to eat us alive. There you go.
Some multi-millionaire dude just gonna be like, okay, here you guys go, and get $100,000. That would be insane. I don't think that'd be even like that would be the most insane thing that's ever happened on a stream, to the point where we'd make news. And I would get a tattoo of your name, whatever your name is, your screen name or username on my arm, on my body somewhere. That 100K dono for Tat is the gift that keeps on. Yeah, it'll be one hell of a donation. So if you guys want your name on my body, do that. We'll figure that out.
They get to pick where.
Not anywhere but the face or the head. That's the only limit. But everywhere else is fair name.
Ouch.
I'll even get a tramp stamp of your name if you really want one.
See you, Memphis.
See you, I'll do a tramp stamp. But yeah, if you guys couldn't donate to us, if you guys want to make like a one-time donation as well, we have donation links. Podcast update is more important than you think. Yeah, no, that's definitely me. But we'll get that all sorted out. So, if you want to do one-time donation, click on the donate here for the PayPal, or you could get some merch or magazines. So we have awesome merch. Got some awesome T-shirts. I think my favorite one is probably the CRT one because I'm a little bit biased on that. I love my CRTs a lot. And then the SHIRO magazine, which we still have a lot of issues of. Not look like got a lot. We actually had an order the other day, so thank you whoever ordered that. We're getting.
Wait, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yikes! I need to look and ship that out.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted.
Yeah,
I'm whipping Dave in the shape.
Definitely. I don't get those notifications. If I did, then I'd be checking more often. Because the last few times I've checked it, there have been no orders. So I've been like, okay, yeah. Text me when we get an order. So
it goes to my
get
email.
right on it. Maybe I could set it up to hit me as well. I don't know.
We'll figure. We'll get it sorted out. We get sorted out. But
I gotta roll though. So we read our patrons, right?
Yeah, in the magazine. That's about it though.
Yeah.
It's about it, guys. Like and subscribe, comments, ring the bell, ring a ding dong, ding dong.
Check out the Isekai Oji-san if you have Netflix. Great show. Highly recommend. Funny. And play your Sega Saturns and then we'll catch you next week.
Yeah. Later, boys, and girls. Later, everybody.
Later.
Later.